They changed the law
Oh, we might lose this.
because there was a chance they might lose it, but not only once.
Wanting to meet with Pete and talk about a proposal of going through our land. It turns out he offered us $200, a credit card for $200. Oh, I'm really going to rip his head off.
G'day, everyone. Welcome to the Bothy. I'm Chris.
G'day, I'm Al.
Today, mate, we're going to show another one of the speeches from the AVA conference that I went to.
Yep. The one you went up near Shepparton.
In Horsham.
Horsham.
So today we're going to show a fairly short speech that was given by Emma Muir, a farmer from Muir, west of Melbourne, not far from Bacchus Marsh. So not that far out of Melbourne. Emma and her husband Peter, along with their family, friends and residents in the district, have been in a nearly 6-year fight with the Victorian Government and multinational Ausnet.
How can they afford to go against the government?
Must have some very, very, very
rich friends.
Wow, generous locals.
Yeah.
And they are fighting against the WRL, the Western Renewables Link, that is proposed for Western Victoria. So it's a transmission line project. So this project is proposed to run over 190 kilometres out into the west of Victoria.
Yep.
And join with the VNI West. So it'll go into New South Wales, Tasmania and South Australia. That's where that line is going.
Oh, okay.
Everywhere. They will feature 85-metre high transmission towers right through all the farms spanning.
So the really big ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
These aren't wind towers, mate. These are big transmission.
Yeah, no. I can see from out this window.
Exactly right. You've got to have cleared space a kilometre, I think, either side or something crazy. There's some crazy rules. The project is being undertaken by Ausnet, which, as I've said, is another multinational corporation controlled out of Canada by our good friends Brookfield Asset Management.
Tell me it's retirement funds.
And,
yes,
our friends from Maple 8, the Healthcare of Ontario Pension Plan, among others.
What?
The Canadians are into everything in Australia, mate.
Well, they are, because they've closed up shop in America, so they have to go somewhere else and ruin that.
Exactly right, and they've picked us. Another investment in this project is the Australian Retirement Trust, Australia's second largest super fund.
You would not want to be in that.
Well, no, fund. I wouldn't. I'm with you, mate. No. Yeah, I agree. They've now invested over $14 billion in renewables projects in Australia, with a commitment in the very near future, and I'm talking months, to invest another $1 billion of their
You know what?
funds.
After hearing this, I'm going to start looking more
at who you're super investing.
Yeah, because I'll be buggered if I want them investing into this shit.
Exactly right.
Ruining lives and for an energy supply that is not going to cope.
And eventually the subsidies will run out, just like it did with solar on the roof, and these companies will go broke.
They'll just walk away.
And what happens to you?
Yeah, they'll leave it there and then,
So the WRL was first proposed in 2019 and it had a completion budget then of $479 million.
Oh, that's cheaper than most.
Yeah, not bad for 190 kilometres. Yeah. In 2022, that was revised to $737 million.
Oh, no, I can see it now. Jesus.
In 2023, they revised that to $1.05 billion.
Well, things have gone up.
They have. Yep. In 2024, they revised that to $1.53 billion.
Who? Oh, my God. How can they be so inaccurate?
I don't know, man. Maybe they've added bits to it, or they haven't decided to put any of it underground, which would make it safer and more palatable. No new estimates have come out since 2024, but is now expected to cost over $2 billion, and they're saying it probably could run into $3 billion for this project. So how does it blow out in 5 years by 8 times?
I just can't believe not only this government, but every other government, it seems that, how can they stuff up so much? Do we all walk around with blinders on?
No, we just have to pay the bill, mate.
I know, but if I'd known about this from the get-go, I'd have been more annoyed sooner.
Yeah, exactly right.
It's like, just find this out. It's good telling everybody, but
it's super frustrating.
It's almost like, how dumb are these people?
Yeah, exactly right. So the project falls under the Victorian Government's renewable energy push, with funding often falling under the Rewiring the Nation initiative, which is a federal program, and that is aimed at making clean energy infrastructure more affordable.
How's that going for them?
Not very well. As I said, it'll join with the VNI West, which has got its own problems, mate. That was going to be a $3 billion project. Now it's a $7.6 billion project, and they're expecting that to blow up to $15 billion, mate. It says $18 billion, and we haven't got anything to show except new transmission lines. We haven't actually got any energy out of it.
I'm almost too annoyed to even talk more about this. It's infuriating how stupid they are.
Yeah, I agree. But all that's irrelevant because the human cost is what really matters here, and the cost of the people that it directly affects, where these towers will encroach on their land, it'll change their landscape forever. And in some cases, the landscape has been held for 160 years, as we'll hear Emma talk about. The economic burden is real, but it's the burden on mental health, the tyrannical approaches made to the farmers from these companies.
It's bullying them.
Out of control, mate.
It's bullying them into submission.
Yep. And the limited avenues they have to appeal or argue their points, and single-minded government they face that is determined to push ahead with these projects despite the cost to their constituents. They really just don't care. So here's Emma's story. She keeps it fairly brief, and I was able to have a quick chat with her at the conference and suggested we come and have a chat with her. She was open to that. So at some point, we'll head out to her farm and hopefully have a chat with her and her husband about the grief that they have been caused over 6 years, a little bit more in depth than she's able to go to in this short speech. But in the meantime, here's Emma's speech.
Let's put the time on because I do talk a bit too much. Thank you very much, Ross, for your kind introduction and a hard act to follow from Ben there. Thank you for inviting me, Caitlin, because she rang me and asked if I'd come and have a chat to you all. And I know you know probably a lot of our story and been involved with it as well, but I'll give you a quick a refresh of where I've come from and what we've done. It's been a tough slog and I get quite emotional. Actually, we're currently in our EES at the moment for the WRL. Last Monday, my husband and I gave our personal submission, and 10 days before that, I did a submission on behalf of the community. I can't tell you how much energy that took and how hard it was to sit there and not cry, because after, I could do it now, 5.5 years of being told, just wait for the EES, you'll get your say. Well, we had our say and it went nowhere. So don't put all your bickies in that little pile. But it's certainly been a hard slog for us. And we live in a pristine part of the world called Muir, which is on the lovely picture there of our landscape, which will be obliterated by 190 kilometres of 85-metre towers, which will happily connect to VNI West, according to the AEMO, Victorian, Ausnet, whoever you ask now. And however, we've done a pretty good job of stopping it. We're bordering on 6 years and not one sod has turned, not one thing has been built. We still don't even actually have approval. And I have to say it is thanks to our community, our amazing community of where I live and what we got together and put together. I'm married to a generational farmer who's back in the corner up there. I'm no expert. You've listened to some terrific speakers today, but I am not an expert. What I am an expert in is my community and my family. We're a fifth-generation farming family who traces their arrival from the lightning ship in August 1863. Our family has farmed in this district of Muir, but been an integral part of the community for 162 years, been custodians of different parcels of land, proudly being leaders of the community, members of the church, the school community, proud to call Muir our home. Today we're still connected to the community. In fact, we're entrenched in it. We raised our children here. We've supported the community through the local school, being members of Landcare. We've been members of the local CFA. And ultimately, we started a group to represent our community against this unwanted WRL project. We run a sustainable family farm, producing prime lambs, beef cattle, and grow barley, wheat and canola, but not on the scale of you guys around here. We have 2 adult children who both show a great interest in succeeding us on our farm. I might just skip. Can I press one of those buttons? Sorry. Go forward. Yep, so this is where Muir is. So when you drive to Melbourne, if you go to Melbourne, some of you probably love going, some of you probably hate it, look like it in the rearview mirror when you're coming out. We're just coming out of Bacchus Marsh. When you're driving up the Penland Hills, that's where we live. We have the most magnificent view. In fact, I only married my husband because of that view. I'll show you in a minute. And I got asked last week, was I getting divorced if these power lines go through? And I said, yes, probably. Because I'm not looking at 85-metre power lines. Not to mention all the other things that it brings. So that's Murniong. There's a bad cross there. We have a smallish farm in comparison to you guys, so I won't mention numbers, but we love where we live. It's a family farm, as you can all relate. It's a really important part of who we are, and it's our identity. It talk about intergenerational, but it's really important where you come from to know your roots, and our kids are firmly entrenched in this, as were Pete's parents, his grandparents, and so on. I also came off a farm as well, so I'm aware of how you're connected to a space and your country and what you do there. So this is the WRL project. I'll just run through quickly if you don't know what it is. It's 190 kilometres of 80 to 85 metre power line from Sydenham in the west of Melbourne through to Bulgana. There's 220 landholders will be impacted. It's run by, originally AEMO and the Victorian Government, although they spent 6 months pointing at each other saying it wasn't their project. Ausnet are the proponent, and now Vicrid are involved because I'm understanding they should be now have taken over and be in charge of the project. The impacts are pretty much the same as you'd have out here. They're environmental, there's fire safety, and there's a lot of economic issues as well. The community opposition was probably one of the main things that I started and got involved with. We had a phone call on the 5th of June 2020, and that was the end of our world. I feel like it was such a defining moment. I'm sure a lot of you can relate to that, whether it be a transmission line, a wind turbine, a mine or something. It's pretty devastating. We had a gentleman from an access agent, he called himself, from JLL, part of Ausnet, wanting to meet with Pete and talk about a proposal of going through our land. It turns out he offered us $200, a credit card for $200. Oh, he's really going to rip his head off. We had a family meeting. We all stood around and tried to be polite. I think the fellow ended up going off on stress leave and having a breakdown after he met the families in our district. I don't wish him ill will, but I don't think he had any concept what he was walking into, and boy, he picked the wrong houses, because our community wasn't. I don't think anybody signed. I don't think anyone has signed in our little space yet. But we're getting closer to a day of reckoning, and I feel like your video is a great reminder of you're not alone. I think that's what we've had to put up with so much, and it's impacted our mental health. I can't tell you how hard it's been, and it's really important to look after your family and your friends and make sure check in that they are all right. We started a group called the Muir and Central Highlands Power Alliance. I had about 20 people working with us. People dropped in and dropped out because they just mentally couldn't do it. And we did this during COVID, so a lot of us were getting paid to do nothing. So we had a lot of time on our hands to work this out, to work out what AEMO was doing, what the RIT was, how this was impacting us, what it was going to look like. We went to court. We worked out a way to go to court. We worked a way to stop Ausnet. The day before we were due in court, the Victorian Government changed the law. The day before. Because they recognised our argument was going to win, and they knew that we would win and that they couldn't do what they were proposing to do. Lily D'Ambrosio enshrined, my husband calls it a Henry VIII law, she enshrined the WRL project into law. That was it. We were done. We were blown out of the water. We'd raised all this money. We'd got started. We were home and hosed. We couldn't believe, where we're at. Anyway, it went on and on and on. We found a new loophole, so we went down that rabbit hole. We joined with V&I West again, which was that by this time, this is pushing into 3-4 years along. V&I West came on board and assisted us as well, because suddenly it wasn't a project bringing power from Bulgana or around the Ararat region into Melbourne. It was actually a project connecting the eastern port states. And another spin, which we talk about a lot, telling us lies and telling us stories. We went to court again. We lost. We went again. We lost. And same thing happened every time we got close. They changed the law. The government, I don't think they've got many more laws they can change. I think they've taken away all our rights to protest. VCAT's gone. All those things have gone. But they haven't taken away our heart. And I can see today that you're in the same boat we are, that we feel as a people power, we've still got a chance of holding this out. They've changed the way they access our properties. Currently, our access is all on hold because we're in an EES hearing. phase. So when you're in a hearing phase, the barristers don't want the proponent to do anything bad, and that means they can't come on your property. So I've had 17 weeks of reprieve there, which has been lovely, but a lot of stress of listening to online rubbish, the Ausnet spill about us and the community and downplay our concerns. When you read an EES, and I wouldn't read ours because it's 10,000 pages and we haven't had time to actually read the whole thing, it downplays any concerns that we have. It scales them back. It says everything is low. Our fire likeliness is low. They try to mitigate things. They say to me, you can plant trees so you don't have to look at the power line. And I'm like, you've got obviously no idea of who I am and why I live here, why I married my husband, because I have this view. So, you know, there's some really common sense things that are missed. I've gone completely off track, which is really helpful, but I will show you quickly. That's a bit of the alignment. It does a twist around our property there. It was proposed for 4.5 kilometres diagonally through all of our land. Now it's a kilometre and it does a rather large turn. What it impacts on this video photo you can see is our biolink. We built a biolink with the Landcare Group. It'll cut our biolink, and all our trees that we planted will have to be cut down because you can't have a tree over 3 metres or a shrub over 3 metres in that space. It also, there's a picture of the biolink I can just show you quickly there and through to there. There's my view, so you see where I married my husband, and there, that's my view towards Melbourne, so I actually can see Melbourne as well. So that's a big part of what we were fighting for. What I have advocated for, and our group has advocated for the last nearly 6 years, is that I know we haven't done this for 40 years or 50 years, since built a transmission line, but there are better ways of doing it. There are better processes and there are better procedures. There is new technology. There is Phil Galloway's syncline proposal, which puts projects like these underground. They are now cost effective. They are now better ways to do things, safer ways to do things. We need to align with the use of the land. We need to make sure that this land is safe for future generations to farm, and so we can feed ourselves, because that's pretty important at the end of the day. I get power is, but feeding ourselves is certainly a really key thing as well. I think, and hopefully I've understood that the Liberal Party and the Nationals have got a new policy going out. Hopefully that aligns with what we want to do and how we want to be seen. Keep fighting, keep up the good work, and thank you so much for having me.
What do you make of that? I mean,
They changed the law
oh, we might lose this.
because there was a chance they might lose it, but not only once.
4 or 5 times. It's a disgrace.
What a pack of dogs.
It shows this government doesn't give a shit
They do not give a shit.
about
No.
the people. They
That's
don't
right.
care, mate.
Why don't they bury it? Why
Yeah.
don't they bury it? Then it's not an eyesore.
No?
It won't be affected by like hurricanes or strong winds or whatever. There'll be less line. There'll be no line breakage. There's nothing to break it.
Yep. I don't understand. Surely digging it and putting it underground would have to be cheaper these days than building 85-metre high steel towers.
I know.
Surely. You've got to build footings for those things anyway, mate.
Or maybe just a theory, but maybe if they do get it built, it's easier for them to snip a line and say, "Oh, we have a problem in the line." I don't know. I can't think of why they're choosing this way in 6 years, and they did it through COVID. They must have thought it was going to be easy meat. Oh, it's COVID. Everybody's worried about this.
Yeah.
How wrong were they?
Yeah, exactly right.
I think they were wrong a lot about COVID.
It just goes to show why the AVA is so important, mate, because there's all these little communities fighting their individual battles.
Yep.
That conference was a real eye-opener because you get all of these communities together and all of a sudden they become united.
Yeah.
But they're all fighting. You hear the same thing. It doesn't matter who you talk to. That's the same message that Claire and John gave us. It's the same message that other farmers have given us. The Delburn group fighting their fight out in the Streslickies. It's exactly the same, mate.
And
bullying, not being listened to, no transparency.
Yep.
It's a disgrace.
It is.
Sorry, mate. And it's multinationals. It's not even our company's going to be making all the money.
Nah, it's pretty sad.
It is.
It's like they only give a shit about the cities. Well, they don't really give a shit about anybody really apart from themselves and their own pay packet. that's what their excuse. Oh, we need to get power to these cities and these. It's like, what about the communities you're ruining?
Can you imagine if the government said, right, pick a suburb, Hawthorne, we're going to come into your backyard, we're going to build a communications tower in the back of your yard and the 5 metres around your backyard, that's our land now, and we're going to be able to come and go into your backyard as often as you like. How would people feel?
Well,
there'd be an uproar, mate.
Yeah, but there'd be more of them screaming about it. That's the problem. There's only a few hundred or 1,000 people whinging about it and going, this is ridiculous. But if you were in suburbia or central Melbourne area, then there'd be strikes and riots and everything.
Yeah.
It's all about who hears you and who gives a shit and who it affects.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't affect
the voters,
very many people, then these people aren't voting for them anytime soon, are they?
No, but you're right. There's not enough of them to make a significant difference, unfortunately. So they've got to fight it a different way, and good on them for standing their digs and taking it to court for it.
Yeah, definitely.
But imagine how stressful it is, mate.
Oh, it'd be hell.
All you're trying to do is run your business.
Nearly 6 years.
Yeah.
That is ridiculous.
Yeah. And the odds of them winning are getting less and less, unfortunately.
Because they keep changing the frigging law.
Yeah, to suit themselves.
That should be illegal as well.
Yeah.
Changing the laws to suit themselves.
Yeah.
Although, pretty much that's what they do anyway. But like, now that I can see it for what it is, it's like, geez, it's an eye-opener, isn't it?
It is. It's just horrendous, mate.
It's hell.
I think the other thing that caught me by surprise there is the EES process, right? So that is a process where everyone says, don't worry, you'll get your opportunity, right? So you can't go to VCAT anymore, you can't appeal anymore, but in the EES, you get to tell us what all the problems are, right? So how's it going to impact you economically? How's it going to impact your landscape? But then the EES is overseen by the government.
I know.
It's not independent.
No.
So you can't win.
No, you can't win at all.
They'll hear you, but they won't listen.
Yeah.
And then they'll just do whatever they want to do anyway. It's another ticker box, mate.
I'll tell you, I am surprised they've managed to keep it shut down for 6 years.
Yeah, they've done well.
So there must be somebody out there that's like a good person or that's willing to like a fair go. You know what I mean? It's like there must be someone, because I mean, otherwise they already would have been pushed through this. It'd all be built and it would have cost us 5 times as much as usual. And everybody would have pulled out at the other end and it would be for nothing.
The danger is that all these projects get pushed through before the election and then they get to the stage where they can't be wound back. So they have to, unfortunately for them, they have to push on until as close to November as they can.
Yeah, it's shocking.
The spin and lies and the lack of transparency and the lack of communication is the common
That's the common denominator in all these places.
Every single time,
The
mate.
farmers and the landowners, they might as well be talking in bloody Cantonese to like a dog.
Yep. So what we would ask people to think about, if you have a house on a house block, 600, 700 square metre house block, whatever you've got, and someone says, right, we're going to come and take 10 square metres of that, and that's now ours, and we're going to access it whenever we like because we decide that this is where we need to put it. How would you feel? How would you feel about people coming on and off your property whenever they want? How would you feel about you losing with virtually no compensation, $200 credit card? There is a compensation pack being discussed for these people that does give them something like $8,000 per year for the next 30 years or something, but how much land are they using? And how much land are they losing?
Yeah.
The point is you don't want people coming on your property to do this. Yeah, it will disrupt them enormously. Imagine the building. It's not going to, they're going to come on today, put the tower up and you won't see them again tomorrow. It's months.
Yeah.
Yeah. They'll tear up fields. It's just
wrong, mate.
It is.
There's enough. I've got no words, mate. I can't believe how bad. Like I say, I'm not just picking on Labour, but it just so happens to be Labour that are pushing this shit through.
Yeah. Let us know what you think, everybody. How unfair is this? Another example, and there's plenty more to come too, example after example of just how unfair it is on our farmers and landholders right across rural Australia who are having these projects pushed on them. So please let us know in the comments. And please know that there are people out there fighting for the betterment of the land, because at the end of the day, we have to be able to eat, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And the more that these community groups see each other and what they're doing and come together, the more strength there'll be.
Yeah.
So, if anybody's got a story out there for us, let us know. Yeah. We want to know about it.
Yep.
And we will push it as hard as we can.
Strength in numbers, eh?
Exactly right.
Cheers, guys.
See ya.
See ya.